Live from the Bowers and Wilkins Sound Lounge at the Moxie Hotel in the East Village of Manhattan, live streaming to your pods, your faces, your phones, your all of those things. Winter Jazzfest, Relics, me, Leo Sidran, on the road again. This is a Rode microphone. He, hailing from the great state of Washington, drummer, MC, beatboxer, backpack producer.
Hey.
You may know him from such vinyl albums as Go Get Ice Cream and Listen to Jazz. I think he's good. You think he's good. He thinks he's good.
I'm good.
Kassa Overalll.
What's up, man?
What's up, man?
I'm cool, bro.
You think you're good?
That was the best minute of my day so far.
Mine too.
That was
Mine
great.
too. That was good.
You rose to the challenge.
Did I get there?
Bruh.
You set the bar high.
No, man. I just did a pull-up.
So listen, man. We've been having a series of conversations, some of them recorded, some not.
Yeah.
When I first was introduced to you a year ago, you were presenting this record, this one behind me.
Yes.
Go Get Ice Cream and Listen to Jazz.
I was.
And one of the things that you said to me was that after years of keeping your musical identities somewhat separate, like you had this jazz identity, you had this hip-hop identity, you had this, programmy part of your life, and you weren't sure how to bring them together. But then finally, when you did, in one statement, people sat up and listened, and they said, I think we start to understand who this guy is.
He likes ice cream and making jazz music.
They understood things about you.
Yep.
Here we are 12 months later, basically.
Yep.
And it seems like we're continuing along those lines. I think it worked out. It's working out.
Yeah, I think they're like, you know what? Let's see what he does if we get out the way a little bit.
Dig it.
Yeah.
Do you feel that it's opening a little bit? Things are...
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's funny how music evolves because 5-6 years ago when I was producing on Escape Velocity for Theo Croker, it was like, should we do this much? Like, maybe it's not, people aren't going to...
Meaning, should we
embrace it?
Should we take it this far away from jazz?
Yeah. Like I was like trying to put in like, produce kick drums
Yep.
and like, trap hi-hats and stuff. And it was like I pushed him all. He wanted to do it, but I was like, if you're gonna do it, you gotta all the way. You can't just do that and then have like Blue Bossa on track 5. You know what I mean? And
right.
But then looking back at that music now, and it doesn't even seem provocative. Like it's like because everybody's doing it. Everybody's got sneakers on their gigs. You know what I mean? And so it's just the music evolves so fast that if you're somebody that's trying to push the envelope, you have to constantly leave what you did in the past. And for me, so I have another album coming out February 28th. It's called I Think I'm Good. And it's being released with Brownswood Recordings.
Congratulations.
Shout out to Brownswood. The whole Brownswood is right over there.
Well, then I will say it's a stealth operation.
It's
the whole of Brownswood is out here.
A person and a half.
Yeah.
No, but the thing was that I was thinking like, man, I could make a whole bunch of stuff that sounds like this.
Yes.
And, people seem to be positive about it, so it'd be easy to just make a bunch of that.
You know how you did that. Just do that again.
Yeah, but I couldn't bring myself to do that. And the stuff that I was making, I thought was really cool, but I thought it was very different. I thought it was almost like too weird. I'm always making something that feels like it's a little too weird for right now. And then the position I'm in now, I'm so glad that I did because everybody's doing something that's,
too weird.
Left of center, and
Yes.
new jazz, and da-da-da-da-da. So my stuff's even weirder.
Right.
I
You
think.
got to go even weird.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I was thinking about, because I was listening to some of the work that you did with Theo Croker recently, and I was thinking about how hi-fi it sounds in a way compared to your new record, like and in the sense that you're not afraid to leave the edges a little loose, you know.
Totally.
You like to leave it so that you can almost, sometimes you're not sure how it was made, but I know that you made it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that's part of my thumbprint, I guess, is like taking real raw stuff, you know, and not like perfecting every little thing, but maybe putting a perfect frame on it. You know what I mean? But keeping the bushiness. You know what I mean?
I think that's a really unique approach to using computer, doing kind of programmed production, in the sense that you could make it. You could shine it up real.
You could make it perfect.
Perfect. You could make it perfect.
But that would suck.
Well, when you choose not to make it perfect, and the parts of it that you choose to leave imperfect become part of the statement, you know?
Yep. And I think those are also, for me, entry points for a listener who may not be extremely an advanced listener, like a lot of musical knowledge, because they'll hear, they know, you know, or they know things that are just like, oh, that's like regular human, you know, I just heard him swallow right there, you know, or whatever, you know, and those kind of things say like, okay, this isn't about being perfect. This is about making sure the message is clear, not perfect. You know?
So let's talk about the message then.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
How do you see the message of this new collection of songs?
Well, I think this new album is just really diving into myself, and I think that for me, there's always been an aspect of the music I make and an aspect of my life that I felt like not comfortable pushing to the forefront. You know, my dealing with like depression and my shadow self and, you know, crazy stuff I've been through in my life. And part of that was like, you know, thinking that I needed to make music for people to party to or to dance to or to whatever, you know. But at a certain point, it's like I noticed people reacting to the real stories or the things that are like coming out of my, you know, my cathartic kind of stuff, you know. And so, you know, I had a few songs that were dealing with like experiences with, you know, I had some mental illness stuff and just I had a few songs that were kind of just dealing with those experiences, and it started to be like, well, that's the loudest part of this album. So I kind of just decided to make the whole album cohesive with that feeling, you know. And there's different, it's not, the whole album isn't sad, but it's all like connected. You know what I mean? So the positive songs are like, they're positive in the sense of like, how can I rise and be a bright person after going through all this stuff? Or, you know, so it all kind of weaves together. It's kind of cinematic. And it was hard work, man, you know.
Was it harder work not talking about that before you started talking about it, or was it harder when you started opening up about it, or was none of it hard?
I think that it took courage, right? I don't think it was hard before, because it's like you're not really ready to talk about stuff till you're ready to talk about it, and that's okay. You know, I'm realizing now that it's, as an artist, you don't have to talk about anything you don't want to talk about. And I didn't understand that before. You know, you watch so many Breakfast Club interviews or different kind of like rap gossip interviews, and you kind of feel like as an artist you have to just be like expressing everything you have, like we're looking at you over the microscope. But the reality is that's not really your job as an artist. Maybe as a public figure or an entertainer, but as an artist, it's like you're supposed to like express your experiences in metaphor, you know, and you express the rest of life in metaphor. And so it's like it takes time to get ready to talk about what you're ready to talk about. You know what I mean? And so it just felt like time.
And you control your narrative. I mean, you're in charge of your narrative.
Yeah.
So it was time.
Exactly. And one thing I did, because the content is a little more what's the word? It's less honey on the content, and even sonically, certain songs are a little more avant-garde sounding.
Yes.
But what I did is I balanced that out with really crispy production. So the production on the new album is a lot better than the last one, and just in the sense of like sheer sound quality and mastering.
But meanwhile, I love this thing that you've started to say about yourself. I referenced it in our little intro, is that you started calling yourself a backpack producer. Not a bedroom producer, but a backpack producer.
Yeah, and you experienced it.
I did experience it, and that's why I think it resonated with me, because you did actually, full disclosure, come over to my house and record my vibraphone. I didn't play it. A great Joel played it, this fabulous vibraphone
Joel
player.
Ross.
But I saw you come over with your laptop, super minimal, ready at all times to make this record.
Yeah, and I came through. I rode my bike to your house.
Yeah.
And I had my laptop and my interface, and you had a home studio.
Yep. And
we ended up just using my laptop.
That's right.
So that I could just take the files and go right back to my bedroom and chop it up. And so, yeah, that process was big for this album, because I realized that there's a certain power in being small. Like, there's a certain power in being light-weighted, because then you can stick and move in a way where you don't need to go to the studio that you pay for or get your engineer to do this or that.
Yes.
You know, you're doing it yourself. So whenever inspiration strikes, or when you have the free time, whether you're at home, you're on an airplane, you're waiting for the plane, you know, you always have it's kind of like a writer always has a pen and a pad and just ready to go. And so it's like, for me, that's just the way it works, you know.
Well, and also you have a whole other part of your life in which you are not presenting your own music, but you still play with other people. So you're on airplanes and you're traveling with people, you're playing with people.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's becoming a lot less lately, for better or worse, you know.
Yeah, tell me about that.
Well, you know, it's just the thing is that, like, when you're trying to build your own thing, you kind of have to leave the space for things to come in, you know. And a drummer like me, like a musician like myself, people will hit me up and be like, so look, we got April and June.
And you're just supposed to put a big
October.
line through the month of April.
Yeah. And the thing was, like, that happened a few times last year, where it was like I got called for maybe one really big gig in October for myself, but I committed to a tour for October, and I had to turn down that opportunity, and that opportunity definitely would lead to more opportunities. And maybe there would have been one gig I would have got called for in November that would have paid more than that whole October tour. And so it's kind of like, you just kind of have to start going like, yeah, I don't need to make all the money, like, let me just go chill, you know?
So are you in that moment right now? I mean, we're watching you in this moment of saying, I'm going to clear out more space and see what fills it.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much, yeah. And I mean, not only that, it's getting filled now, so.
Good.
Yeah, it's filling up more, so.
And how do you feel about letting go of that aspect of your life, that aspect of the mercenary, the drummer, you know, the person who's there in a supportive role of other people? Are you ready to let that go?
I think that it's like seasons. You know, I think there'll be a time where I can come back around and do that. But right now, it's like, it's just, I got to give it. I put too much in to this already, that, like, if you put a lot of time and a lot of money into something, you gotta stay while the crops are growing up.
Yes.
Harvesting time, you know. So, yeah, it's just, I do love playing with other people, and it's not just like this ego journey of like the self, you know what I mean? Like, I love playing with other people, but it's just a matter of time and energy. And right now, it's like, I gotta do my thing.
Gotta do this, yeah.
Gotta do my thing right now, man.
And how are you performing it? How do you perform this music, and what part of you do you showcase when you do it?
All parts.
Uh-huh.
I did my first European tour in November, and it was, most of the tour was duo. So I played drums, electronics, looping, sequencing, vocals, singing, rapping. And then my co-producer, Paul Wilson, he played piano, MIDI bass, MIDI, just sound effects, electronics, and he had the mic for the hype man vocals. You
need that. You got to have that.
Yeah. But it was really interesting though, because I could go between this like drum and piano avant-garde duo energy, like it almost like Cecil Taylor and Max Roach. You know what I mean? Like we could go all the way over there and then make a left turn like and like drop a loop, and I'm rapping and he's on the drums playing a hip hop beat. You know what I mean? And it could just really shift, and I think those drastic shifts is what it's kind of like what I'm dealing with right now. I'm noticing people.
You told me that once before. That's the thing that you like. You like to set up something, set up some expectation, and then subvert that expectation with people.
Totally. I love it. Now 2 days ago I performed for Winter Jazzfest at Mercury Lounge, and it was me doing what I do, Paul on MIDI keys, Mike King on piano, Morgan Guerin on electric bass, and Iwi, Melanie Charles on vocals, Jay Horde on vocals, and my brother Carlos Overall on sax. And so that was like the first time we did the big group, and that was dope too. And it was funny because that was the first time I had more vocalists and stuff, and I was sitting there going like, man, I could really like almost go in the background, like I set up this whole system, this whole organism, and once it's going, and I'm like, wow, I can really just kind of almost be the hype man for my own idea.
And then you are doing something. The interesting thing about that, after having spent so much time of having to be backing somebody else up, is understanding that when you put the thing in motion, it still belongs to. It's still your statement, even if you're just watching it go down.
It's definitely still, like you said, the statement. It's I love leaving room for whoever's playing with me to do whatever they want to do. Like sometimes I'm like, because most of the people that play with me, they play like piano, bass, and drums. And on certain songs, I'm like, yo, what do you want to play? Like, you could play piano, you could play drums. I'll put whatever you don't play, I'll put in the track. Like, whatever you want to do, And sometimes when you give a quote-unquote sideman, because that's not even how I'm thinking about it, but when you give a sideman that kind of freedom or power, then it really gets more organic, and they're like, oh man, we're just hanging out.
Yes.
Like here's a floor tom, you know what I mean? And it gets more, and
there's no right way to do it. At that point.
Yeah.
Well, I watched you with Joel Ross when he came and played this vibraphone overdub on your record. I was very curious to see how you were going to approach it, because as you say, there's a shiny element to what you do, or a kind of a produced element to the sound of it. But at the same time, your attitude was very much a jazz attitude. I mean, if you gave him 2 takes, it was a lot. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, I'm like, it's good. Like I could record you walking out of this room with a good mic and make something super dope. And if you happen to trip on your way out, that's going to be what makes the track dope.
Right.
So, after a while, you kind of, and I played with so many people that wanted to get it so precise, and so I want it to be like this. And it's like, but you might be missing out on the greatness you didn't know existed. You know what I mean? Like most of the best things that happen, it just kind of happened like luck, so quote unquote.
But how do you luck upon sounds and events in the box?
Yeah. Well, it's two parts. Like when you're recording, you definitely just don't have too much of an exact idea of what you want. You just know you're almost like a field recording. You're almost like an interviewer. You're almost like a journalist.
You're interviewing the music.
Yeah. You're more of a journalist. You're more like trying to get to understand, right? And so you're checking it out, and you're like, and then as you're listening, you find out what is the thing that's special, and okay, this is the focal point. Then you take that, and then you go back into Ableton. For me, I go to Ableton Live, I drop it in, and then I just spend hours listening to it over and over and over. And I listen to it from the beginning. Say we get a minute in, and I hear, oh, what if a drum beat drops in right there?
Yeah.
You know, and I edit that in, put it there. Then I start back from the beginning. I listen from the beginning, so I can be the listener, so I can be the consumer, and then I hear it drop, and I hear how it will affect. You know, so a lot of what I do is always go back to the beginning, even if it's some little tiny delay edit at the end. I like to listen to the beginning to go like, what's the experience gonna be? And I notice a lot of editors or producers, they'll do an edit, but they'll listen back to right there.
Yeah,
you know,
check
and
the
it's
edit.
like, yeah, and it's like, but you don't know how you're gonna be feeling when you get to right there. You know what I mean?
Right, it's a context.
Yeah, so context is extremely important. And I think this whole idea I'm dealing with, I talk about a lot about framing.
Yes.
It's context. Like this, what we're doing right now,
Yes.
it could be in another context. We could record this, and I could time warp it to 16 measures.
Yes.
This could be a play. These could all be scripted. Like there's
Yes.
so many different contexts that what we're doing, it could be, you know.
Absolutely.
And it's like, once you start thinking about these boxes within boxes, worlds within worlds,
Yes.
and it's like, it's all weird.
It's all weird. But I love the idea of you feeling almost like you are a journalist waiting for the music to reveal itself to you. You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
I
that's
just
what
thought
I'm hearing
about
you
that
say.
now, but yeah.
I like that. But it almost
I'm
seems
looking
like
at Lauren.
the same thing could be described of playing with other people, right? I mean, that's
Totally.
also a similar experience of responding to what's coming to you.
Listeners, yeah. Dennis Davis, right? Rest in peace, Dennis Davis. He played with Stevie Wonder for years. He was a sideman.
Yeah.
And he passed a few years ago. But I remember he was saying, I was talking to him at St. Nick's Pub in Harlem, and he said like something about not knowing what the song was when at the jam session, and he was like, "Man, just count it off, man. I got Mickey Mouse ears." You know what I mean?
I'll hear anything.
Yeah,
I'll hear
and it's
anything.
like if you're listening, you can't really play too much of a wrong note. You know, sometimes I'll play a song at a session, and if I don't know the song, this is a little kind of flipping it, but if I don't know the song, I can't really hear the form and stuff. I can't even play a good cymbal beat because I can't hear where it lays. You know, like the reason my drums sound good is because I just know the context, where it's laying within the musical material, the harmonic material.
Well,
You know, and so it's like hearing.
yeah, what you're hearing. But so, you know, I want to talk about your drumming also in the context of your solo records, because last time we talked, I asked you about the way you set your drums up, and in general about the evolution of jazz drumming. I don't know if you remember. I said,
Yeah,
I had this picture of Art Blakey when I was growing up over my bed, and you know, and how far away are we from that concept of, you know, two cymbals, you know, and
And I think I said that we're still there.
we're right there.
Right.
You said we're right there. We haven't moved. You
Yeah,
said.
it's still the same thing. Yeah.
But what I think is so interesting about your production is that because you are such an accomplished drummer, sometimes it seems like the stuff is just totally programmed. Like, you know,
Yeah.
or then you'll drop in a little bit of live drumming on top of it. You know, sometimes the live drums lead it, and sometimes the live drums kind of punctuate it, or kind of are the icing on it.
Yeah. Well, what's the question?
Well, what? What about that? I mean, I guess.
How do you feel about that?
How do you feel about that? I mean, no, just when do you think and how do you think about the way the drums interact?
Yeah,
with that music?
Like, how do I navigate like when to do this or when to do it like that? I think again it actually relates to the thing I just said about the harmonic material. Like if you have an organ, a mellotron, one vocal line, and a shaker. I'm thinking about the first track on my album.
Yep.
To add in a whole drum groove, it might make it so you can't hear the what's cool about those three sounds.
Yes.
And so it's really a space thing. It's like a lot of it is like knowing what to take out, you know. So like there'll be a lot of songs I might have added programmed drums or added live drums and then muted it, and I heard this cool other little counter thing. And so a lot of it is just scissors, actually. More
Editing.
more so than pasting, cutting.
Taking away.
Yeah. And I don't know, man. Sometimes it's also just kind of throwing stuff at the wall, like, and trying, you know, because, you know, I come from making beats, like, with a MPC 2000, you know, and I remember watching a Kanye interview from 15, 20 years ago, and he was talking about replacing the drums on a hit song, you know, and it was like, the drums wasn't working, so I muted the drum track and put the Dr. Dre drums from so-and-so and just kind of like pasting a new thing in, pasting it. And sometimes that's how you find it. You cut, you're like, man, this ain't dope. And then you mute everything except the one thing that you know is dope. And just start from there, you know? And so sometimes that's all it is. It's just experiments, science, laboratory style. Hypothesis. What's that other thing they call, like, the process of something?
Elimination?
No. In that order of operations, but it's a scientific
dehydration.
method.
Scientific method.
Yeah.
So,
that kind of vibe.
So, you know, I'm so hung up on your production because, as you know, I geek out on that stuff. But, you know, I think from the average listener also, maybe the first thing that they're going to hear and notice is the sound of your voice, you know?
Hey.
And you started out kind of like as an MC, but you sing now too, you know?
I'm trying.
You're a singer. People are going to hear you and they're going to say, oh, he's a singer.
That's cool. You know, it's really... however people interpret it is all good, you know, like, and if people, like, for example, if somebody came to see me and I was singing, and all they thought that it was just, I'm a singer, and they're like, man, he's not a good singer, you know, whatever, you know what I mean, like, and they don't know about anything else, right? That's fine, you know, and you got to take that L, you know. It's kind of like sometimes I'll be dressed a certain way, and I'll be killing it. The outfit I'm wearing is killing in a certain environment, and then I'll go to another city or another part of that city and walk in, I all of a sudden feel like homeless.
See, I am constantly looking in every area of my life, the way I dress, the things I say, to basically be able to just slide into all the situations and never feel like I'm out of place. But it's a very difficult thing to do. Yeah,
I mean, that's cool. And sometimes I'm like that, right? But I kind of like the other thing too, which is like, I kind of like
the extreme thing.
Like, joke's on you. You thought I was homeless. I got the dopest outfit on in the city. Like, y'all, you played yourself.
That's right. I mean?
So it's like,
well, that's context too. That's just all context.
Yeah. It's all fun, man. And it's all fun, you know.
Well, I was very impressed with how quickly this came together. It gives me a sense that you must be writing all the time.
Well, I'd use the term writing very loosely.
Yeah.
But I'd say when I get in that mode, I'm constantly thinking about the songs. You know what I mean? Sometimes some songs, they come together when I'm just like walking somewhere and I have the idea.
Yes.
Of like, oh, if I do that, you know. Or even like the live show, I'll be thinking, how am I going to play all these tunes and fit them together?
Yes.
And I say, okay, we'll do it like this. And then I try it out in rehearsal or whatever, and I'm like, boom, you know what I mean?
It works.
It works, you know. And but sitting and writing lyrics or sitting and writing chords out, I don't spend a lot of time doing that. But a lot of, like, some songs, they got written in performance. You know, like, I'll try this little idea out over this song. I'll try that little vocal lyric thing, and sometimes it doesn't work at all, and you just kind of, you know. But then sometimes it cuts through, and you can feel the audience go, yeah, I felt that, right? And then you go back and then you do it. You know, market research.
That's what you have to do. Market research.
That's what I think. Yeah.
You called the record I Think I'm Good.
I think I'm good.
I feel like that has a little bit of a double meaning.
Probably quadruple.
Quadruple,
Uh-huh.
multiple meanings.
Yep. All right, let's see.
Let's go through them.
Okay. Oh, wait. You want to bring me the test press?
Oh,
We have a humble offering.
this is the test pressing for I Think I'm Good. Now, is this going to be the final artwork, Kassa?
I wish, actually. I was just thinking
Yeah.
that just now. I was like, this would have been the dopest artwork of all
Just
time.
solid white cover, no label. Then you know when you're playing the Kassa Overalll
Right.
record because it's the one with no label on it.
Yeah, and then getting an autograph is huge.
Very big.
You know, you get that joint signed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, now I'll know what this is.
Yes. You'll have to sign all of them individually.
Yeah. I sold one of these at Turntable Lab yesterday.
A test pressing?
A test pressing to
Yeah.
somebody. Shout out to Turntable Lab. Also, sorry for doing business in your business without giving you a cut. But yeah, I sold.
Whoa.
You know what I mean? It was like I had the test presses. I was like, yo. He was like, can I buy one? I was like, nah. And then I was like, $50.
Well, the nicest thing you could do, I guess, is to give a shout out to Turntable.
But
Lab,
shout out
considering
Turntable
you
Lab.
actually set up in their shop and
Also,
open your own shop.
I opened my
inside it.
shop in the shop. You know, the sideshow.
Yeah.
We call that the sideshow
Yeah.
on the West Coast.
Yeah.
But we did order 2 pizzas for the whole squad.
Uh-huh.
So we had a pizza party and listened to the new album. And people were asking about the album, and it seemed like it was a vibe.
Okay, so
So
let's
I
go
think
through
I'm
the
good.
meanings.
So the first one is like, nah. Like, you know, when like you want some coffee, and you're
No,
like,
I think I'm good. Yeah.
So it's kind of like letting go of everything. You're kind of like, sometimes the best way to open up your schedule or get the time you need to do what you need to do is kind of just like turning down everything, you know. I think I'm good. I think I'm good, like, with, you know, trying to fit in. You know, I think I'm good, like, with just all the jumping through all the hoops and stuff, which is kind of crazy because I feel like I'm really trying now, you know.
Right.
But the sentiment is definitely
Right.
like, man, I'm good, man. Like, I've been trying to do this for so long, man, and like, either y'all gonna feel this one or you not, and either way, I'm good.
I think I'm good.
Right. And then the other side is like, when you had too much to drink or something, and they're like, "You all right?" You're like, "Yo, I think I'm good." It's
Yeah,
like,
yep.
it's like I think I'm okay.
Yeah. Well, that's why, especially with the aspect of mental health and the idea of revealing a certain part of your own personal struggle, the idea of saying, but I think I'm good.
I think I'm cool though.
I think I'm okay.
Yeah,
In
and
spite of everything I've been through.
yeah, and that's not to say like every day is like just, you know, Disneyland,
Yeah.
joyous. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I still deal with ups and downs, but everybody deals with that.
Yep.
But I do have enough tools
Yeah.
to navigate myself through the ups and downs properly.
Yes.
And I'm also, like, to be honest, I'm like grateful to a degree of how hard it's been to navigate emotional ups and downs, because now I know what that's all about. And I know how to, if I need to be in a good space, I know what to do that.
To get yourself there.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Has it over the years, has it impacted your career, do you think?
Totally.
Being up and down?
100%. I think that if you take the time to, like, if you have enough time to have a proper morning routine to get yourself in the right zone every day, when you go out into the world and engage with people, you're going to be such a joy to be around that, like, if your work's good and you got a good attitude, sky's the limit. You know what I mean?
And for a while you didn't have a good attitude?
Yeah, I think that it was just inconsistent. It was like I would be good one day, and then another day I show up and I'm, you know, down in the dumps. And I still have that, but I'm just saying that I have the ability to, like, push through it if I
Yes.
need to.
Yes.
And I need to be more, like, it's like now it's like I actually put things that depend on me being consistent.
Yes.
You know, so Yeah, it's
You
a
have to show up and
process.
be this guy now all the time.
Yeah, I gotta hop up and talk. Yeah.
But then
you
also
know,
you have this meaning of basically saying, I think that the music I make is good. I think that this statement that I have to make is worth making.
I think that's the best album of 2020.
What, I think I'm good?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
I like that.
I'm putting my bid in. I
You
wanted to
have
say
to.
it last year, but
Yeah.
I think this is the one.
You think this is it? Well, but I mean, I hope for you, every album that you make from now on, you're going to feel that way.
Well, I think that would be dope. And but this one is special, man. It's like a thing where like when I listen to it now,
Yeah.
I listen back to like when did that happen?
Yeah.
Because it happened. Making that album in itself was almost like a manic episode because it was like I set the deadline.
Well,
And you remember you saw me
That's
when
what
I
I'm
came over
saying.
to the
I
house.
am shocked at how quickly it came together.
I was like, yo, I got to get this done by October
Yeah.
3rd or whatever. And I was just like, and I'm texting you, I'm
Yeah.
texting Joel Ross, I'm
Yeah.
texting Theo, I'm texting everybody.
Yeah.
And like, and it
Sullivan,
started.
Fortner, Aaron, you got everybody.
Yeah. And the thing was that people somehow, it all just started. I knew that there was something guiding me because people were getting free. People were like, yo, I could come Tuesday for 2 hours. I'll see you there. And it
Yep.
was just like, and like the single was out a month later. That song we recorded
Yep.
was out 1 or 2 months later.
Yeah.
So
So sometimes things connect and there's an energy around it. There's a kind of a vibration where you feel it happening, and that's
Yeah.
what happened here.
and you catch that flow, you got to go with that flow
Yeah.
and try to like breathe some air on those flames and just keep that vibe flowing. And that's the vibe.
I remember you told me once that if left to your own devices, you would play drums like 5 hours a day.
What do you mean? If
Like
I
if you had
it
the
how I
time,
want it?
yeah. Is
Yeah.
that true? I mean, would
I
you
think
still
so.
do that?
Yeah,
Do you still have the time for that right now?
No, hell no. I don't have the time, man. I don't have no time right now. It's
So what's
crazy.
it like to play?
It's great. Playing is great, but it's like also you gotta spend at least enough time to keep your chops together,
Yeah.
or keep your mind in the music. Because if you don't, if all you're doing is thinking about strategy, when you get up to play, you won't have that connection to the music.
Uh-oh.
That's quote unquote our time.
Is this our time? Okay, I want to ask you one more
got
question to
10
wrap it up.
minutes.
Then we got 10 minutes, but
5 minutes?
yeah, I think we got a couple minutes because you've said it before. We've talked about it many times. I want to know if it's changed. You got to have a good morning routine in order to stay positive, to stay healthy.
Yeah.
What's the morning routine?
So right now, the past couple weeks have
Yeah.
been so busy.
Yeah.
My morning routine has been condensed.
Yes.
So I saw this YouTube video a couple of minutes weeks ago.
Yeah.
So this is what my morning routine is: 3 minutes of stretches.
Yes.
Which is like a downward dog, a
Yeah.
cobra, and a squat.
Yeah.
For 3 minutes. 2 glasses of water.
Uh-huh.
Oatmeal if I can get it,
Oatmeal.
and a cold shower.
That's it.
And then that's like I could do that in like 15 minutes. If I have 10 more minutes,
Yeah.
I'll meditate for 10 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's interesting that if you have 10 more minutes, you would do the exercise in your mind and not in your body. You know what I mean? That the meditation takes precedence over the stretching. I mean, I understand.
No.
it.
I said stretching first.
No, but I'm saying you wouldn't add 10 more minutes of stretching or physical exercise.
Oh,
You would
yeah,
add
yeah, yeah.
meditation to it.
Yeah. Because the meditation is like it's easy to get to in the morning, and that it really helps.
Yes.
For me, if even if you did 5 minutes, you can kind of shake off all the dream world stuff. You can shake off, like it's like you get a moment in between yesterday and the next day,
Yes.
which I think meditation is good for.
I interviewed this guy, Richie Davidson. He's a scientist who's done a lot of work on meditation. He says that his goal is to get the entire world to see meditation the way we see brushing our teeth. He says we weren't born brushing our teeth. We had to learn how to do it.
Yep. I agree, and I'll double down and say I think we should get the entire world playing music how we see going to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, so like you have people that play in the NBA
Yes.
and they're the professional athletes and everything, but everybody knows that they should get exercise. And I think that playing music's the same way. You have people that, put out huge hit songs and
Yeah.
everything, but I think everybody got a song, could learn a couple chords on the guitar, the piano, whatever.
Yes.
And I think that back in the day, before we had so many like pop star ideals, there was a folk approach to music that was more like everybody could.
It belonged to all
sing
of
a
us.
song.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
I think just to add to that, we'll all meditate. Everybody will play the djembe.
Well, I like what you say. The same as going to the gym, which is you might not be playing music, but at least that you should play music.
Yeah. Yeah, I should go to the gym.
Yeah, exactly.
I should be playing my guitar.
That's right. Kassa Overalll, congratulations on the new record. Always happy to see you, man.
Oh, good to see you, bro. February 28th, I think I'm good.
I think he's good too. Thank you from the Bowers and Wilkins Sound Lounge at the Moxie Hotel in beautiful East Village of Manhattan. Thank you to Relics. Thank you to Winter Jazzfest. Thank you, Kassa Overalll. Thank you, Third Story Podcast. Thank you, Brownswood Recordings.
Hey.
Thank you to the Rode microphone in which I'm speaking. And I'm thanking somebody else. I'm thanking all of the people. I thanked them. I thanked Bowers and Wilkins.
We said
Sound
Bowers
Lounge.
and Wilkins.
I said Bowers and Wilkins.
But can I get my headphones back?
Yeah.
You said I get headphones.
Ciao.
Peace, y'all.